here. Now I'm live horizontal. We'll see if someone actually joins the stream this time. I'm live today from Guntersville, Alabama. We have came down here and stayed overnight in Guntersville to go to a place called Nakalula Falls, which is actually about an hour from here down in Gadsden, Alabama. It's a wonderful little place to go. It's a state park, if I remember right. It might not be, but I'm pretty sure it is. But there's next door to it is a entire like Christmas light set up, and it's kind of like Gatlinburg. It's a pretty big deal. The gentleman was saying that it takes someone. Good morning, Trey. How you doing? But it takes someone something like 3 months, 3 guys to put all the lights out. It's pretty big. I took a few photos. Today, the weapon of choice is the Leica CL with the 35 millimeter TT Artisan 0.95 max aperture lens. And last night I was shooting it at f/0.95, which is pretty shallow depth of field. So you have to, hey Ron, how you doing? You have to take a few tries to get to the, can you buy me the 35-1.2 and a Z400-2.8 teleconverter? Why would you, I could, but then I'd be broke. I'd probably be less than broke because those are quite expensive. Let's see what this button does. Top chat, super chat, none, hide all chat. No. What am I doing? Chat messages are visible. Okay. Live chat. Okay. I don't know what that does. The new live stream settings are messing with my head. I can't. Let me see if I can get it to show me the chats. They're popping up on the screen. Here's a question. Where is David? David is in Guntersville, Alabama, currently. I am plugged into the wall power because I failed to charge my phone last night, and I'm streaming from my phone. So, but here's the door to the B&B, and I can show you outside the door. And you can see the porch, but yeah. You have seen behind the curtain. But what I wanted to talk about for a few minutes was, and it's Ask Me Anything. If you do have questions, is there a photography to be had there? Yes, the town is quite interesting. It's pretty old, and it's right on the lake. Has a really cool downtown district. They split the highway, and it's one way through, like there's like 1 or 2 blocks separating the road. So you get into town and it splits, and you one way down this way, and you return back the other side of the buildings, and it's kind of interesting, and yeah, it's kind of cool. That view looks photographable. Yeah, it's kind of neat. But I can't get it to show me the scrolling chat. They just keep popping up. How you doing, George? Thank you for jumping in. Awesome. Yeah, and if you haven't done it yet, give me a thumbs up. I haven't streamed from my phone in so long. They've changed the orientation of all the functionality on it. I've got this. Let's see. Let me do that. Some messages. There we go. I think I got it on now. Yes, there. Now I can see the whole chat. You said AMA. Yeah, there you go. Oh, well, yeah. I did, didn't I, Ron? Or Ray? You can't ask. Turn your phone vertical. Well, I've got it going now. There's a little button down in this corner of the screen, and it says top chat all, and like hide it, or well, that one went away again. Let's see. Oh, there we go. You just touch the screen, it brings it back. Good morning, Carmine. Thank you for jumping in for a minute. Well, thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. Let's see. Oh, wrong one. I bet it's cold in New York because it's like 35 here today. I can imagine what New York's like. Woo. Yeah. Yeah, the chat kind of fades in and out after a minute. It's kind of weird. I guess they do that so that it'll disappear. Good morning, Randall. Thank you for jumping in as well. That's awesome. The camera today, just to give y'all a little heads up, is my Leica CL. And this little 35 millimeter TT Artisan f0.95 lens. This lens, as I like to jokingly put it, punches way above its weight class. It's a really good lens. Now, here's one thing that's sad. It comes like this. You get these cool lens hoods from Amazon, and it's a threaded lens hood that screws into the filter thread, and it reproduces a smaller filter thread. Looks like you get a 49 millimeter filter thread out of it. If you wanted to screw a filter onto the lens hood, you could, because I can see the idea of it. Oh, you didn't see that. Oh no, it rolled under the bed. Okay, but this lens produces stunningly good photos. Shot wide open, it's got some artifacts, but they look kind of cool. But this lens and camera setup is small and compact, and it's easy to use. The batteries are, I got it stuck now. Panasonic batteries. They're a little, I don't know if you can tell it or not. It's weird how it's putting it back in the middle like this. The camera is over here, but it's centering the frame. It's interesting, but these are Wasabi Power. They work really well. You get these from Amazon, of course. Y'all don't let me forget to get that lens hood out from under that bed before I leave. But I've got Leica branded cells. The Leica cells are actually better, strange as that is, somehow, but they're not enough better to warranty the price. The price of the Wasabi Powers is a fourth, maybe. I want to say the Leica cells are about $75 a piece, and the Wasabi Powers, you get like 2 of them and a charger for like 35 bucks. So these work really, really well for what you get. And their service life isn't as long as the actual Leica batteries for some reason, but it's maybe 10% less. So, you know, you can get a lot more battery for a lot less money, essentially. And the service life on them, I have had one of them fail on me so far since I've been using them. I've had this camera about 6 years, I think now. I think I got it in 2020. I might have got it in 2019. I'd have to dig back through the videos to see. But when I first started, I only had the 2 Leica cells, or 3. I think I might have had 3 Leica branded batteries for it. But then I started getting Wasabi Powers probably in 2020. And one of them's went bad on me since then. Now, I have bought some off-brands called, I think it's called Pickle Power or something like that. Those batteries are crap. I had 0 good luck out of them. And they don't hold a charge well, and they don't last. They just die. So if you're looking for batteries like that, you know, trying to get something, I'll experiment with brands, but those wasn't any count. And they even feel like there's less going on in the cell. So it wouldn't surprise me if the inside the battery only had like 1 of the 2 cells or something like that. Randall says he uses dummy batteries and power banks a lot nowadays instead of the cells inside the batteries. Yeah, that is an option. I haven't looked to see if you can actually get the door off of this camera. Some cameras you can remove the battery door, but this one doesn't look like it's easily removed. I ain't going to risk breaking it. Trying to pop it off. The Nikon ones pop right off, but this one I don't think, since it's not designed to have a battery grip, I don't think they made it to where you can remove the battery door easily. Plus, it's inside this shell. There's a, you can see that screw right there. This is what they call a half case. It's got an Arca Swiss plate made onto the bottom of it. And it's also armored around the pocket where, if I can get the light to hit it right, where you get the, yeah, there you go. Battery doors down in that socket. Plus it gives me a metallic grip extension to make the camera fit my hand better. So, you know, it catches my fingers and makes it to where it's more comfortable for me to shoot with. Ah, Then you caught the wrong stream where I had to delete it and start over. Let's see. Ray says, I wish I could get into smaller cameras. They just never feel comfortable in my hands, which is weird because I shot that D500 forever. The D500 ain't too tiny of a camera. Updated the firmware 4 of for the Leica Q3. Snappier menu, and when rotating the camera, the menu rotates as well. That's cool. Still humans and animal subject detection only. That's still a big plus. Making sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see here. I have no battery door on the Q3. That's right, it's external. It's like the SL2, isn't it? I really like the Z52 with the 16-50 kit lens. It's a great run around and all-day camera. Yeah, I really should get out my kit lens for my Z50, but I haven't. It's still in the drawer. I think I've mounted it once. Battery life is not all day on the Z52, but it can be managed. Yeah, I have a spare battery in my pocket. This one, I haven't changed it since yesterday. Let's see what it shows. It still shows it's charged, but I only took a handful of photos with it last night, so I didn't leave it on most of the time. This one's got the switch like a Nikon. It's right on the shutter button. You can see the little LCD display lit up with information when I turned it on. But there's Woody Mallory. Hey, Woody, how you doing? Almost caught it from the start. See, there's something that bugs me about the USB-C charging, Ron. My Z50 or my ZF, if the USB-C isn't the right kind or enough power or something, it won't charge. It's real picky about how it charges the internal battery in the camera with USB-C. I've tried it in the house, and like I have like one cable that it will allow it to charge through. It's real picky for some reason. I'm not sure what that's about, but supposedly it's something to do with Nikon software or their firmware architecture. That it's real selective. But this one doesn't have USB charging. You have to charge the batteries externally. This camera has no USB ports of any kind. Matter of fact, this camera has no ports at all except for the battery socket, the memory card socket, which there's only one of, and the lens bayonet. Those are the 3 ports on the outside of this camera. It was never meant to be like a kitted out camera. You know, like you'll see guys buy like a Sony, A7S or something like that, and then they'll kit it out with a cage and all these plug-in accessories and turn it into a video running gun rig. This one was never meant for that. This one was meant to just grab it and go for a walk and take some photos while you go. So they stripped it down and left literally all of the ports off and everything. There's no HDMI port. There's, like you're used to seeing even if nothing else, like a mini USB. Not even that. This was just meant to go out and take photos. It has video modes in it, and I've used them a couple of times. And it does pretty good video. It's kind of limited on the kind of video it captures, but I don't like shoot like walking around. Like I'll set it up static and shoot a shot with it or something. Like I've shot a couple of outros because my GoPro went dead and things like that. But for the most part, this is just a photography rig for me. When I first got it, it had an autofocus lens. It had the 23mm f whatever that Leica sells for these little, or used to sell for these crop sensor cameras, and it's equivalent to like 35 field of view. But the problem is you can't separate the autofocus function from the half press of the shutter, and because of that, it was frustrating to me because I want to control when it focuses. So I would get it focused and then I'd reposition. Well, if you didn't have, like, the focus modes in it are kind of archaic. So you'd move off of it. Well, the focus square would move over here and it'd refocus on whatever the focus square moved to. You couldn't focus and recompose unless you put it in manual. Well, once you put it in manual, it wouldn't autofocus. And it's kind of defeated the purpose of having autofocus lenses. So I finally just moved away from autofocus lenses entirely and I just run manual glass on it straight up all the time now. But it does do autofocus good. And it won't do like eye detect and all that. It predates all that. But it will do like it'll see the nearest subject in the frame and focus on that or whatever, you know. You can get it to pick people out. You can move the focus points around and all that sort of jazz so that it'll, like if you wanted to shift people over to the side, you could make it work. You can get it to work. I just like using it with manual. It just works good for me. Let's see what this chat's saying. Saying hi from work, don't tell anybody. Needs the power delivery charger and a cable that is pinned up correctly. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's why it won't work. I'm calling the main number, Phil, and telling on you. Thanks for jumping into the chat, Phil. George runs the Z30 now with the kit lens. He says, what does he say? Carry around daily. It's the Z50 without the viewfinder so it can fit in your pocket. That's pretty cool. The newer bodies from Nikon need the SS cables, not the cheap Amazon cables. I have about 3 out of 10 cables that actually work, but the Z52 is less picky about its charging. Never tried the Z8. Yeah, I don't even bother with trying to do in-camera charging now because of the stuff like Ray was saying about the whole power delivery issue. Because it looks like if you could get the cable to have the capacity and the charger has the capacity, it should work. But don't buy a car from Phil today. He's watching a live stream. You guys are rough. He can do both at the same time. I've lived it. George, okay, Ron's asking George if the kit lens is the same for the Z30. It probably is. They're essentially identical cameras with just one stripped of the viewfinder, from best I can understand. There might be some other like details, but for the most part, the Z30 is a really nice little, very compact camera. I also, to jump back onto this for a minute, I also have the 35mm f1.4 TTRs and lens. And these are both crop sensor lenses. So these lenses are meant to be shot on a small camera. And I have a unicorn in that this 095 is actually for L mount. TTRs have sent me this lens to review, and I reviewed it. And I've talked about it several other times on here. And this is the last thing they ever sent me. I guess I didn't get the views they were looking for. You know, the ROI wasn't there for them to want to continue to work with me. But this lens, having what, another 1 or 2 full stops over, I guess it's 1 full stop over f1.4. I don't know. F1 is a full stop, and then 0.95 is another one, I think. I don't remember. I think it is. But it being native L mount, it's very small. You know, it's still smaller in diameter than the actual mount itself. Plus, it has a good grip area for the focus ring. And that's the reason I keep picking it over the f1.4. The f1.4 is a lot smaller than this. It's a significantly smaller lens. But it's like its focus ring, it's at the back like this one. It's exactly like this mechanically, like the engineering is the same. You have this little aperture ring at the front on the 095 or the 1.4 as well. But the focus ring on the f1.4 is a little knurled band at the back. Now the body is also part of that, so you can actually grab the body and turn it. But yeah, the knurled section is at the back, and it's this little narrow band of knurling. If they'd have made it maybe 3 times as wide, it'd been a lot easier to get a hold of. And I would have preferred it a lot more over I would probably be using it instead of this lens then. But this one, having that wide band for focus, makes it a lot easier to drive. It's easy to get a hold of, and you don't accidentally turn the aperture ring instead. It just works really well. I do like this lens a lot. I have considered a couple of times trying to get an M mount lens, whether it be a Voigtlander or a Leica. I've actually looked at them, like the 35 f1.4s and things. And because if I can get the M adapter L, it does one thing that the non-Leica lenses that are L mount native manual glass does. On the back of this camera, you have a button on the top here. Each of these thumb wheels have a button in the center. Okay. And this wheel changes functions. When you put the M adapter L, which is a little adapter ring from Leica, on here, it tells the camera that you have an M mount lens. And if you want to do the zoom to focus preview, then I think it's this wheel. You roll this wheel one way and it zooms in, you roll it the other way and it zooms out, if I remember right. Or you press this button. I don't remember. It moves to this control surface. Otherwise, it's this up arrow on the, let's see if I can get it down here where you can see it right there. It's this up arrow right here zooms in, and then you zoom out by half pressing the shutter. Or you might compress the center button, I don't remember. But yeah, I just bump the shutter and it zooms back out to compose. But yeah, you get critical focus by hitting this up arrow. All of the non-Leica lenses that don't run an M mount adapter, you have to get to where you can just, I just catch the ball of my thumb on that D-pad, and I just bump that up arrow to zoom in. I've gotten to where I can hit it without really moving my hand off the thing. I'm hitting it right now. I've gotten to where I know where it's at. I've learned it over the years. And when I put that M adapter L on, it moves to this thumb wheel, which is a natural location too. Your thumb is already sitting there, and you can just zoom in real conveniently. I just wish they would give you that option in the settings to move that feature over and just leave it there, because I never use this wheel except for maybe, it may be the, let's see, once it boots up. Oh, it's on. Yeah, this makes exposure compensation right now. I've got it set in the function or the settings to be exposure compensation. Oh, this is supposed to be the aperture control, but it's because I've got it in aperture priority, but since the aperture is not wired to the camera, it's doing nothing, you know. But yeah, the way it works. Let's see here. Nikon XP 7 needs a better power adapter. 45 watt and USB-C cables will keep the battery charged. Full frame, yeah. I know that ZF, it's real picky about how you charge it. The 50 f1.2 focus ring is huge. Dude, yeah. And at f1.2, you probably need a big focus ring so you can get critical focus, unless you're letting the camera do the work. Which, on the Z9, I would. That's there. I thought I was subscribed to your channel. Just fixed that. Oh, yeah. If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, I would like that. That'd be a big help. And share it around if you don't mind. Just tell somebody that we're doing a live stream. I'm thinking about something else. I have a limited time on this stream, so I have to shut my stream down in 30 minutes max. I can't let it run over. Oh, there's a clock right behind the phone here, so I can keep an eye on the time. But yeah, let's see. What did I miss? The new firmware for the Z9 has made the eye detect a lot quicker and more sticky. Good grief. It was already like cheating as it was. I can only imagine better. Man. Well, that's something else that I have really noticed Nikon picking up as of late. I'm going to jump tracks on this and talk about Nikon in a minute. I can set this down for a little while. Nikon has really come around. Like they saw what Fujifilm was doing with all their X series cameras, the X-T3, the X, what was it? X Pro 3, and you know, there's a whole line of them little street photography cameras, as I jokingly call them, that Fuji's making. They're all the X-Trans sensor cameras, and it is that they drop routine firmware updates. They must have a whole team of devs that do nothing but write firmware for those cameras, and that's like their only job, is to constantly make the firmware better. And you still get firmware updates for like older cameras from Fujifilm. That was a big like marketing tool that they had, because back when I had my XT3, I also had my D810 and maybe another camera or two from Nikon. I'm pretty sure there was maybe a D200 in my life at that point, and a few other things. The Z6 came into being, but at the time, Fujifilm was dropping regular firmware updates for all of their cameras. You would get one for the XT3, which was their current flagship X series camera, and they was also dropping firmware updates for the XT2 and the XT1, and it was incredible. Firmware from Nikon was like, if the camera physically broke while you were using it in the software, if the software would glitch and lock up and the camera would not function, then they would go into the firmware and figure out why and write a patch, and then you get a firmware update. And that was it. Like, I saw maybe one firmware update for the D810 the whole time I had it. Maybe two. Maybe. You know, for them to like unlock new feature sets and, you know, give you new focus ideas or film simulations even, Nikon just did not do it. Now, since the Z family of cameras have come out, it's like they flipped that script and they've started doing regular firmware updates. And you see it. Oh, look, Patrick Daughtry has commented on it and says, it says Nikon, not Nikon. I am from the state of Georgia in the United States. It's Nikon in my world, and will always be Nikon. That's like Leopold scopes. If you go to a trade show event where Leopold has a space set up, they actually call it Leupold. Now, let's see. Oh, and here we go. Z, not Z. Yeah, my ZF and my Nikon ZF. Yeah, say it all wrong. Get everybody all stirred up. But there's several of those brand names that I've learned over the years that I've been pronouncing wrong all my life. You know, like I said, Leopold was the number one for ages. I mean, back when I was a kid, to have a Leopold scope was a big deal. And then later on, I found out they call it Leupold. The actual employees in the company and all, it's Leupold. I never said it like that. And even to this now, I just had my Freudian slip and called it Leopold, because that's what we always knew it as. Because when you saw the name, you pronounce it with English vernacular. It's just the way it works. Now, this has been Leica from the beginning. Canon's always been Canon. Fujifilm is a normal. For some reason, everybody wants to call it Nikon. There's no two E's. There's no accent mark over the I in any kind. And the way our pronunciation system works, that I is a long I, Nikon. So it'll always be Nikon to me. Probably because I'm over 50-year-old and it's hard to change things like that. If you haven't hit thumbs up, you can do that for free. It doesn't cost you anything, at least as far as I'm aware. But don't let me forget about that lens cap. It's under the bed. Yeah, George is talking to Ronnie, says, I wish I was better at creating videos. That's two of us, dude. I am not great at creating videos either. The view count tells the story. If I was able to tell a compelling story or have an interesting delivery, people would be wanting to watch it more. Woody says, Virginia says, knock on, the same as you. Most of the United States is going to say it like that. I don't know about Britain. They probably pronounce it Nikon or whatever. But, yeah. The American pronunciation system is different for whatever reason. Always has been. Let's see. I took photos in low light last night. Like, when you start, this is how I do my Google review photos. I take them with my camera, and then I grab them out of the camera with my phone, and then I use them for the photo. Okay. F095 allows you to shoot essentially in the dark. This was very poorly lit. Let me see. That wound up, that's still 1/10 of a second. That's how dim that was to get her to expose. You can see the lights on the tree were overexposed because they're blinking. And what I done was, I'll let you see this. What I did was I took a whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we're back to something different. I took 9 frames like in 2 different bursts to get a sharp one, because at F095 you're the least bit out of plane. Your eyes are out of focus. Ask Phil. And motion blur is a thing. As you can see, she was moving around a little bit, and at 1/10 of a second, that's hard to do. But we went to a place called Nakalula Falls. If you haven't done it yet, it's worth a trip down there to see it. It's a Christmas light display. Now, I don't know how many lights. There was a lot, probably well over 1 million, maybe some more. They have a little train that rides through the park, and your park access ticket gets you rides on the train. And I think it's unlimited. You just have to go around and queue up in line again to get on it again. But once you ride it once, you don't have to ride it again. The park can be walked across probably in 10, 12 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. It's not a huge place, but it's big enough that it's interesting. And it's in, let me think. It's just north of the city of Gadsden. So when you get there, you actually get off the interstate and go up the mountain. There's a Nakalula Falls kind of exit, and it takes you right into that where the waterfall is. And they have, like, it's so popular, they have cops directing traffic and to get you in and out of the parking lot easier, things like that. But it wasn't hard to deal with. Like, they have it pretty organized. But just down the road, maybe 5 miles, is Gadsden, Alabama. And it's a pretty big city. So if you want to go get something for supper, that Thai place we ate at was right there across from the falls. And it was really good. It's called Katy Thai. Real good Thai joint. If you're really looking for something to do for Christmas and you're in the South, that's a really cool thing to go do. And it's like a once and done kind of thing. Like, you don't have to go back multiple days to see it all. You can see it all in one evening. And it makes it for a nice little outing. They had like hot chocolate vendors and little gift shops and snacks. You could get kettle corn. You could get all kinds of little different kinds of snack foods. They had little snack shops everywhere. They had like an outside fireplace thing that was just a chimney and a gravel area with a bunch of chairs sitting around it with a big burning fire in it. So you could sit down in front of the fire with your hot chocolate. You know, it was really cool. They had it all sorted out. But where we're staying is about an hour away. So we had an hour drive over, and then we drove back through Boaz and Albertville, Alabama, back over here to, it's not Nickajack. Dadgummit. Now I can't remember the name of the town I'm in. Oh, Guntersville. We're in Guntersville, Alabama this morning. That's pathetic. Oh. But today I'm just going to walk around with this camera, and it's one lens. This is literally all I brought. This and a handful of batteries. I didn't even bring a battery charger this time because we're just going to be here the day or so and go home this afternoon. So I just didn't need all that extra gear. Ray says David travels so much he forgets where he's at. There's some truth to that. Teresa travels so much, David forget where he's at. I just go along for the ride a lot of the times. I'm going to stop this down to about F5.6 right now before I forget. Now I got to remember the lens hood's under the bed. I got to keep saying that so I don't forget it. But I would suggest or recommend that you find a littler camera and a lens that you enjoy using that's kind of unobtrusive. And I think Ray and George are onto something with the Nikon Z30 and the Nikon Z52 with the kit lens, the 16 to 50 kit lens. Now, I like this lens because it has a really, really big aperture, and that allows me to shoot essentially at night with very little like penalty. I was shooting at ISO 400 the whole evening. I just left it on 400 and left it there. I could have went, to ISO 2000, what was that, 2 stops? Essentially 1600, 2 stops. And that 1/10 of a second would have turned into 1/40th and would have probably been fine. The whole reciprocal rule from back in the day is 1 over your lens millimeters. This being a 35, if I'd have shot at that, I would have probably got, a better hit rate, much more in focus shots, much less motion blur in the images. 1/40th is still pretty slow shutter. I'll be honest. It's pretty slow. And all my photos were shot handheld. I didn't set it on bracing or on a post or anything. A lot of times I'll do that. I'll set it on handrails or whatever to get the camera to be a lot more still. But it doesn't have to. You can just take 4 or 5 or 10 photos, and then usually you're going to, the odds of success are in your favor of getting one good keeper out of that series. And that's what I did. And I got one. I got that one of Teresa in front of those blowed out lights that are in the background. They're Christmas lights. There's like a reindeer and a Santa or whatever. It took me about 6 or 7 tries, and I got one good sharp one. She's in focus and her eyes sharp and her face is still, like I caught her not moving, and it worked out. So you just got to be willing to do the work. You put the work in, you can land those shots, even with a manual focus camera with a big aperture, no autofocus, no eye tracking, none of that. And you can still get the photos. Let's see, there's a lot coming down on the screen here. Let's see. Oh, Ulrich's jumped in. Hey, Ulrich, how you doing? It says, I hope to have a wonderful time and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, Ulrich. Great to catch you live again. Yeah, thank you. You don't use Lightroom, but the new denoise in there has me not worrying about ISO too much. Yeah, you've mentioned that in our chats, that the denoise feature is getting kind of scary good. Now, there are some tools that I have access to that I don't have to pay for that are getting better. There's some stuff in Darktable that, if you know how to manipulate it, there's guys that do tutorials on YouTube that you can get real close to the same level of denoise functionality that the AI denoise does in Lightroom, but it takes more work. It's not just a one click and done, and a little bit of a slider and off you go. You do have to do more like functions. You have to go into this function, do this, and then go into this function, do this, and then you're there, and it's good. It's still, I don't think it as good as Lightroom's denoise feature, because that has gotten so good that it's hard to compete with it. Let's see what I'm back over here reading the chat. I remember when I was 6 years old, I heard down yonder, and given the explanation what it means, I asked, why not just say over there? Then I heard, we can agree to disagree. Didn't like that either. Good one, Randall. The denoise in Lightroom only works on RAW photos. I didn't know that. That's interesting to know. Let's see, make sure I didn't miss one. Randall said American pronunciation and spelling should be phonetically. Tell wrote in, hey Tell, how you doing? That it is Nikon in England, okay, or the UK. Oh, Trey says, take the camera and look under the bed. Okay, let's do that. Let's see where the let's find it together. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, perfect. All the way to the center. There it is. There we go. Got my filter ring so I don't have to. I'm sitting in this ancient chair. Look at this. There we go. It's nice and stained. The upholstery's coming apart. The armrest, it's pretty rugged looking. There we go. I found if I lean forward slightly because the phone's leaned back, it puts me on a more square plane with the phone. But yeah, you get these lens hoods from Amazon, and they're pretty cheap. I don't remember how much they are, about $15, $20. They are not much for what I look at the machine work in this, and I wonder how they do it so cheap. Because for me to make this would cost me more in man time than just the anodizing on it would cost me $10 or $12. I don't know how they do it so cheap, but yeah, and it fits perfectly. Let's get it, just pick up the thread. Normally if you hold it up right, there we go. And there it is. And now I have a lens hood, and this helps a lot with flare. This lens has some lens flare, and that helps dramatically with it. Plus it keeps me from accidentally touching the glass, you know. That's another reason I like lens hoods on all of my manual glass, because especially if you're up here and you're messing with the aperture ring and stuff, your finger rubs across the lens, now you have a big smudge, and that shows up as a huge bonus feature in all your photos, because now you have this white stripe in all your images that looks like lens flare when it's just a dirty lens. And I go to a lot of trouble to keep those cleaned off. I got those alcohol wipes. Oh, they're in that shirt. These things, once you get to the point where I found out that now that I wear glasses regular, if I can find the front of the shirt, here it is. I keep these in my shirt pocket. Them. Get the camera. It's probably backwards. It says Zeiss lens wipe. It looks backwards in the video that I'm seeing. I don't know if it's reversing it again. But you can buy these in like a box with 100 of them in it for just, I don't remember how much. It's not super expensive. These work so well cleaning your lens because they have like 91% alcohol soaked into them. They're the little things they give you to wash your hands after you eat greasy barbecue. But these work so well cleaning my optic glasses plus the lens elements on my camera lens and the viewfinder, because it'll get smudged up from time to time. So I keep 2 or 3 of these in my pockets all the time. I used one this morning, so I'm down to 2. But totally worth it. Keep them around. Ron says, I use those and keep a few in my backpack. About $5 to $6 a box of 100 at Walmart. Yeah, totally worth it. You don't have, you know, before that I would literally wash my glasses in the sink with dish soap. That works really good too. You just got to make sure you use something dry to dry off the lenses with. Something that doesn't have any oils embedded in it, or that's going to scratch your lenses. That's the reason I like those, because the cloth is, you know, particulate free, or it's not contaminated with any kind of particulate matter that would scratch the lens. It's a really handy thing. How do you feel about reaching 7,000 subscribers recently? Good question. Feels like 6,000. because honestly, I have a core group of viewers that actually watch my videos. All the guys and girls in this stream, plus about 200 or 300 more, and that's about it. Sometimes I might see a video hit 400, but most videos hit about 300 views, in between 300 and 400. I'll go there, and it seems like that number doesn't really change no matter how many subscribers I have. It was kind of neat to see it turn over to 7,000, and I just happened to open my YouTube Studio app when it was at $69.99. So I for the post, I just kind of refreshed it, and it took it about an hour, and I saw it hit 7K, and I screenshotted it for that picture. But a lot of times it'll bounce back and forth. You know, somebody will subscribe and then somebody will leave, and it'll go back and forth till it finally settles on 7,001. Where 2 people subbed or whatever, and it messed it up, you know, and you don't get the nice clean number. But that was where I got that. But it was nice. I mean, it's awesome to finally reach 7,000. That's a lot of people, especially for someone who doesn't play the algorithm game. You know, I do it some now. I try to improve my, because YouTube is a search engine, and for years and years, I didn't realize it, and I wouldn't put like keywording into my descriptions, and I didn't say like a camera, like a camera, like a camera, like a CL, like a CL mirrorless camera, you know. And you see people saying what seems like a redundant statement in their videos when they're reviewing the TTRs and 35mm f0.95 L mount manual lens, and they say that whole string of data like that is for keywording, because YouTube scrapes the audio stream too, and by doing that, YouTube knows what this video is about and knows how to serve it to other people. So it's important that those YouTubers say that what seems like silly statement over and over and over in a video. They're doing it so that YouTube knows how to share this video with other people. And they know its relevance now. And that's why it's important to put a bunch of that information in the description. And I was real lazy about doing descriptions for years and years. And yeah, the descriptions would just be David talking about camera gear. Well, there's camera. That was all that was in it, you know. But as of the last couple of years, I've started trying to do a better job at that. And it seems to have helped. It seems like I've picked up the pace on gaining subscribers a little faster. And I have went from about 200 views a video to about 350 to 400, give or take a little bit. Sometimes they don't bust 300, but most of the time they do. But yeah, I've took a sabbatical since we went to Greece, and I really haven't made a video. Yes, what was that, in about 3 months now? So after the first of the year, I'll probably start back. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of take some time off and just kind of be. It's just lack of a better term, you know, and have fun. And these live streams, they're not a lot of trouble, and I like doing them. I like to be able to interact with people directly while I'm on stream. That's the great thing about live streaming is the interaction time. There's no delay. It's real time, and that's awesome to me. Let's see. That's all Lon wrote in. Hey, Lon, how you doing? You're amongst friends here on the live stream. Yes, I recognize literally every name that's in the stream right now. That's kind of rare, you know. I watch all your videos. I like the historical detail you share about the places you visit. Cool. That's good to know. I enjoy doing the videos about where my photo walk, and I'm able to glean a little history as well on the photo walk. It makes it a lot more fun for me as well. I'm glad to know that somebody else enjoys that too. Yeah, okay. I'm just testing. The camera is here, so it's weird how it's doing the frame. The camera is over on the side because it's at the top of the phone, and I've got the phone laid over. But it's centering the image. It's kind of messing with my head a little bit. about time to have Teresa back on the channel. Yeah. Once I start making videos again, I'll bring her around as well. She does bring something new. See, disciple recognizes the names too. I'm not scared. Oh, that's a good one. All right. It's time for me to sign off, guys. We have run this almost an hour. That was amazing. Time flies so fast when I'm on stream with you guys. It's impressive. If you are watching this and you've made it to here and you're watching it as a video, you are like one of the stars of YouTube as far as I'm concerned, because you've sat through an hour of me just rambling to a camera and talking about camera equipment. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, if I had time, I'd stay on stream with you guys longer, because I've had a lot of fun right now. And if I could get the phone charged up some, I'd take you outside and show you what the world looks like out here. But I am bound to buy a power cord currently. My own fault, but whatever. I could have charged it earlier today and I didn't think of it until the last minute. That's the way it works sometimes. But hey, look, Astrophoto DD jumped in. How you doing? Thank you for jumping on the stream. I'm actually signing off. So once this stream ends, or you maybe can rewind back through it and watch it as a video after I shut it down. One of the two. You can do either one. But where are you from? I'm from a little town in Georgia called Trenton. It's right outside of Chattanooga, Tennessee. I live in the southeastern United States, up on a mountain called Sand Mountain. Have a good one. Maybe some of the photos you get in Alabama. Yeah, I'm going to upload them. It'll probably be a post. I might make a video. We'll see. When I get home, I'll play with it and see what I can come up with. But yeah, the camera's got the pictures in it. I've stripped a few out from my phone. I made that little short yesterday with the photos where I was in. That's in downtown Guntersville, where I got a picture of Teresa and some of the scenes of the town. I shot it all wide open at F095. It was like 1/8,000th of a second with the sun out. Did you bring your banjo? No, not today. I don't need it. There's plenty of people here who have them. Oh, thank you guys so much. So until next time, I'm going to tell you to get your camera out, no matter what kind it is, and just go take a picture with it, all right? We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Let's see here. Now I got to figure out how to get done. I guess it's this button.